Hey, I'm Decathlon Gamer. Welcome back to FM23 Newton Heath, episode 31, and the continued connections with Wrexham. It's driving me nuts. It's hilarious. It's becoming the running gag of this series when it's supposed to be connections with Manchester United as, Newton Heath. Let's go ahead and dive into one of those topics here in a moment. But first, the Wrexham connection. Phil Parkinson, do you remember how last episode we were playing Reading on the road, FA Cup? Now we've got a replay coming up here in a day or so against Reading in the FA Cup. Yeah, they're managed currently in game by Phil Parkinson, the real life current manager of Wrexham. Keeps happening. Again. So Manchester United was originally founded in 1878 as Newton Heath. Now, of course, you already know that was the basis for the series, right? The modern protests utilize the original name of the team, the original colors, the green and yellow, as a tool, as a symbol of that protest. Now, beyond that, though, the team was not the Red Devils. They were not united, as it was two clubs coming together that picked up the United part. But originally, they were known as the Pagans. Yeah, the Newton Heath Pagans. Now that green and gold, that color scheme, that carried on through from that founding year in 1878 until 1902. It was in 1902 when the club, combining with another club, became United, and Manchester United with the new name. They also picked up a new color scheme. So even though technically at the time, they probably still could have been referred to as the Pagans, and most of the time would have been still referred to as the Pagans. But as they had a new name and they had a new color scheme, the original mascot for the team didn't make sense in the way it had before. But for 5 decades, the name still technically lingered, but most people just kind of called them United. But by the 1950s, under Sir Matt Busby, the Busby Babes name had kind of taken off. And following the Munich air disaster in 1958, you had kind of a rebuilding. And the Busby Babes now had the name of a specific group of players at Manchester, not just the team in general, as it had been over that past decade. So as a result, it's Matt Busby, Sir Matt Busby himself, that came up with the new name, the Red Devils, and Manchester United would ultimately pick that up. Now, how he came up with that, though, it's actually borrowed from Salford City. Not Salford City, the football club that's doing what we're doing, protest club that's rising on through. No, Salford City Rugby Club, who were known as the Red Devils. He picked that up. It matched the color scheme. It was local. It was city. They were popular. And so Sir Matt Busby himself was the person who renamed the Manchester United mascot to officially become the Red Devils. And it's been that ever since. It's a replay versus Reading, second round FA Cup. Third round proper is where you get the Premier League sides coming in. So it's that stage in the competition where things are really ramping up, and we're already facing a League One side as it is. So we are well past the stage where we should be out of the competition for now. We're still in it. Let's see if we can, get past another round. The first match, if you didn't see it, ended up finishing 2-2. We nearly won it. It was Joao who made life difficult on us, but good play there to make the stop. We are reaching a point where 2 matches every week has really starting to take its toll. And we are feeling it. Great through ball. Ola Ford. Oh, grabbed off the line by Allsop. That ball touched the line, but it's got to cross. The whole of the ball has to be across the line, so that is a no goal. Wilson, nice clearance, with a little help on that one. With the initial attempted header deflection, that is. Donatian back to Pierre. Pierre in the starting lineup today to get Tunnicliffe a rest for that very reason I was just mentioning. As Ford tries to chip the keeper, it's deflected. Got a hand to that one as he tried to put it up over his arm. Pushes it up and over and out. Corner kick. We have another. Ford called for the push off there. And it is Whitehall who is in for Neal. So two subs in place. And that's doing a little bit to help us stay fresh. Now, the only thing about playing these guys is there's a decent chance that at least in the first match they had a fair number of their guys resting on the bench. Ford! Man, if I'm Ford, I am taking a touch. I'm taking a touch and pushing it past the keeper because you can see the keeper is diving in there. He is committing that to that ball. So you take a touch and push it past him. One of two things is going to happen. Pretty much 100%. Thing number one, he collects you, and it's a penalty. Thing number two, you successfully push the ball past him, and it's a tap-in goal. That one's deflected, but Heggie is going to pull that down gratefully. I already did, but okay, fine, I'll say it again. Ola tries to send that forward for Ford, but the defense is going to intercept. Joao thought he might have been offside there, but maybe not. He was certainly behind the defender who was marking him, but that doesn't mean he was behind all of our defensive line. Ola plays it off for Donatian. Pierre finds Whitehall inside, finds Ford for the long ball. Ola might have been offside. Flag's raised. It looks like it was Ford who was offside, not Ola. Or maybe they both were. But it's halftime. It's goalless. At both teams. I mean, we're looking at very similar number of shots on target, though, very much favoring us. So XG is also favoring us. 65% possession. We definitely have the advantage in XG, but overall chances, it's been pretty close, pretty balanced. Hercules struggling. Ola, coming back from that injury, is available to play. I think we want to get him in for the second half. So we'll make that change here in the early minutes, and we will bring on Lapalobai. I wanted to wait 10 minutes for that one, but whatever. It's okay. We got him on 3 minutes into the half. Tanner. Oh, Wilson scores! Wide open. Terrible defense there as they were very much playing near post. There's two guys technically on him, but Wilson just runs it behind him. Yeah. Appalling defense, but I'll take it. We lead 1-0. 50 minutes played. Okay, Ford is struggling. Pace maybe not the thing. Maybe we need a target man type situation and want to bring on Palmer. There's the over the top for Ford, and he gets our second. Yes, offside. Offside. Was he offside though? Oh man, I thought he ran past the man on the way into that. I thought he was on. But let's go ahead and make that switch now for Ollie Palmer. He's slower. He's not going to have pace. It's not going to look the same as what we're getting with Ford. But he is going to hold the ball up a lot better. And tactically, we need to get in because I have not given individual instructions to Palmer. Instead of being an advanced forward, let's go ahead and make him into a target forward. And we'll put it on support, actually. So, you know, these guys will be prepared to be having the ball laid off for him, but none of them are necessarily assigned to attacking. But we lead 1-0, so it's not exactly what we're wanting to do. So let's go ahead and drop to balanced. This is where things get tricky for us. We are very much an attacking-minded team. Going defensive, trying to get behind the ball instead of possess the ball and work the ball and recover the ball quickly. We tend to get in trouble with those. Palmer, Sarcevic. Lapalobai lays it off for Pike. Pike brings it forward. Gets Lapalobai on the run. Takes it to the byline and crosses in Whitehall. Sarcevic's going to take a penalty. This is a penalty. That ball into the box. Man was held, and Sarcevic's going to step up. Oh, right under the keeper's arms. Alsop guesses right. Goes the right direction. Nearly makes the save. Sarcevic squeezes it through there. Right between the hands. And it's 2-0. It is 2-0. Okay, now we want to change things tactically. We are going to start light time wasting and playing for the set pieces. Out of possession, we are also going to lower this high press a little bit to a mid-block and standard defensive line. We still want to trigger the press, though. Just going to start getting behind the ball a little bit. Whitehall. Palmer turns for Ola. Through ball does not work. That's blocked. That's a corner. We've got another sub we could make. Let's look into doing that here in a moment as we get to stoppage time. There we go. Stoppage time's been announced. So now is a great time for it. Donisian's a good... Pike's tired. Let's go ahead and bring on... no, let's not bring on Leston Hughes. We're going to swap those two. 3 minutes to go. I think it's done here, folks. They haven't even had a shot on target in this one. Palmer can't win that one. It was like 1 versus 3 or 4 on that play. Long ball on ahead. Palmer still not winning it, but Tanner gets it back. Ola takes the outside. Brooks, take it to the corner flag, buddy. Okay, fine. Find Palmer and blast it over the top. That's not what you want in that scenario. Wouldn't give you a good rating either. Donisian, time wasting like a pro. Tanner. Ola. Lapalabai. Here's my thought on time wasting. I hate it, but it's part of the game. Change the rules, and I will happily abide by them. I would not time waste if it was against the rules. I wouldn't cheat and do it just because you could maybe get away with it. But it's not against the rules, to an extent. To an extent it is, but to an extent it's very much part of the game. It's very much allowed, and so why do anything different? Come away with a 2-0 victory. Very much a lot of that XG came down to the fact the only XG after the goal. We had one little itty bitty attempt there and one little itty bitty attempt there, but that was Palmer's shot, right? Almost all of our XG was the penalty. But hey, we've done it. We're out of the second round. We are on to the third. Dang, still alive. While we were playing, most of the league were involved in matches, so we're once again a match in hand compared to majority of the rest of the league. And Eastleigh was in action on the road at FC Halifax, and they have lost. They have lost 4-1 even. So they drop points yet again. So we remain 5 ahead in the league. Carlisle has actually caught them now, equal on points, but a couple goals behind. Also having played 22. Barton's played 23. Hartlepool's played 22. So outside of Yeovil, we're starting to build a somewhat healthy advantage. I mean, we're 13 points up on Notts County. So we're starting to look a little bit higher and higher. And just a couple matches to go till we ourselves have reached the halfway stage of the season. Training facility upgrade is complete. Club facilities getting better and better. They have now reached adequate status, full 2-star status. Youth facilities still out of 1. And with that one done, I'm wondering if it's time to beg that question, ask that question, can we upgrade the youth facilities as well? Reputation is still obscure, but it is very much climbing. It is finally at a stage where it is high enough to be on the low end of the 6th tier, as in where we started. Not where we're at right now, but where we started. Check on how things are come next off season if we've actually climbed that high. But we have doubled our reputation this season. Doubled what it was. But those youth facilities look like the next one. They've also upgraded our finances rating to rich. We are now a rich club. We have 40 million for a balance. However, there's still one thing about that, and that is this. The remaining debt, 40.5 million, meaning the loan that the club had for the stadium, while the rest was paid by Radcliffe. That original debt, that 58 billion, I mean, it's been paid down a decent bit, but it's still 40.5, where we have barely 40. So we still have a net debt. We haven't broken even technically, just yet. I would love poof, paid that thing off. That would be nice if they would do that at some stage, so we didn't just keep making payments and making payments and making payments. I could immediately ask for the next training facility upgrade, but I'd like to do the facility upgrade, so we're going to ask about that one. And we've just lost Donasian in practice. Robust challenge from somebody has led to a broken foot that is going to see him out for 3 to 4 months. Obviously, pay for the specialist on that one to get him back a little bit sooner. I mean, that's going to put us into the later portion of the season. So, Brooks, well, obviously has to step up. He's going to be the main guy now, the starter for the foreseeable future. But we were already a little thin at fullback. Now we're worryingly thin. So, might look into a signing to see what we can get helping out. You know, Donasian is 32, by the way. So we'll see what we can do. Multiple suspensions and injuries has changed up the squad a little bit. We are going on the road to Altrincham, who are 19th in our league, but it's the FA Trophy. I'd like to go on and win the FA Trophy while we're still in the National League, because once we get up to League 2, which may happen come next season, we're not going to be a part of that anymore. We'll be switching to the League Cup, but it's not a big deal if we don't win it. It's not a big must. Just be nice. So therefore, we're willing to experiment a little bit. So we're going to try this Ford Palmer on top, 4-2-4. See how it goes. See how it looks actually in action. It is on the road, but as it's one of the bottom teams and we have quality, you would think we're good enough to win this thing. So we'll see if there's enough presence in the midfield with this tactic. And also by watching closely, we can get a better idea if we do happen to struggle with it. One, we can switch. We can switch tactics. But two, if we are struggling with it, we can see why we're struggling with it by getting in the game itself. As Neil fails to get that pass forward, maybe. Oh, come on. Kouyaté scores. Poor defending, poor turnover. Not even 2 minutes in, we've already seen a fail. This one, Pierre, is to blame here. Neil over the top for Ford. Equalized. Well onside too. Easily onside. No doubt about that one. And it's 1-1. And we haven't even played 3 minutes and both teams are on the scoreboard. Ooh, Ford almost forces that turnover there with the press. Comes Palmer with his press. Pike inside to Sarcevic. Finds Hercules. Hercules cuts in. Blasts that off defender. Bounces around a little bit before eventually getting cleared. Tunnicliffe over the top for Ola. He's going to get there. But he just keeps it in. But then he steals it off the defender who was trying to take it away from him instead of just clearing it out. Pike. Ford. Header. Hercules. Neil. Tunnicliffe. Long ball to Ford for Palmer. But that was well out of his reach. Not a good connection. Apter. Allowed to just run. He's being chased by our attacking players trying to press him. And so everybody else just kind of backs off and lets him chase. Meanwhile, he's behind. Wow, nice run from Ford to the defense. Big error on their part. Anson, grateful after the foot gets out, blocks that to clutch that one. Tunnicliffe, we find inside. Now Ford linking up with Palmer. Gets a good shot off, but Anson makes the stop. Ford maybe could have had a different angle available to him, but he puts it on target into a spot that, from time to time will work as Apter goes close again. Fullback replacement for Donasian. Brooks. Remember, Brooks is much more attacking player than Donasian is. And Brooks didn't do well there. Bennett gets in. Tries to flash that across the face of goal to a teammate, and Brooks clears it poorly. Gives it right back to him. Tunnicliffe. Now Brooks. Brooks back inside to Tunnicliffe. Finds Sarcevic. Do you feel like we are missing that midfield a little bit? Palmer's the one that keeps dropping in, though, to the pocket. Ford gets that shot. Sets up Hercules. Looking good there. That was a good sequence. We've got 8 shots already. We've already got 1 in XG. We already have earned the goal, and we're starting to work on the next. It's not bad. And, defensively, ours was a bit of a mistake there. Giving away more shots than we're used to giving away, though. Is that tactical? Is that space in the midfield? I haven't seen them really exploiting the space in the midfield. Nice pullback from Hercules. Sets up Ola. Not too high, but that was, 3 or 4 feet over. Wasn't that close either. Lays it off. Neil's got a yellow. Have to watch out for that. Might need to sub him. Pike. Brooks. Plays it off. Tunnicliffe. Sarcevic. Tunnicliffe is in a ball-playing defender. Ooh, Ford kept that in. I thought he was wide there, but he scores. It's 2-1. Yeah, Ford's going to get some extra goals here. That's the thing about having a player being a little bit higher. In this case, Ford kind of target man and laid it off himself. And then turned around and immediately made the run, and there you go. Neil loses that one. Sarcevic's going to get a yellow here, and he's going to get a red. That's a pretty common foul. It's automatic yellow. I mean, it's counterattack on, but that was a very normal tackle under the circumstances of a turnover in a dangerous position midfield. You're gonna get stuck in. If you make a clean tackle, great. If not, you're gonna take the yellow and move on. That's why our midfielders pick up a lot of yellows. That shouldn't have been a straight red. At least didn't look like it. I mean, it looked pretty straightforward, unless it was stud straight up. Could have been. But experiment over for the day. We are going to vacate our 2-man project on top and drop one in down low. We only lead by a goal, so I still want to have the pace of Ford. So Palmer, that might be it for him for today. But Shackford is tired already, but having an excellent game with 2 goals and an 8.8. Ford could drop himself into the midfield role and no subs yet. I think that might be a way to go for now. So we're going to drop Ford in. Palmer is the target forward, and we'll put Ford as an attacking midfielder, well, those guys are both on attacking. You know what? Leave it in supporting role. Do I want to change the role? Playmaker, shadow striker on attack. There you go. Now, Neil on a yellow card in this situation is now dangerous. He's going to be expected to do a lot more. He's not going to finish the game. He will get subbed, but we'll wait until at least halftime to make that change. And he's still fresh for now and has been playing well despite having a yellow card. The way the animations are, you never quite know what happens with fouls, but it appeared to be harsh. Sometimes it's pretty obvious. You come straight in through behind somebody. You're like, oh yeah, that's a foul. There's times where you see absolutely nothing at all. It looks totally normal, totally clean. All right, so second half underway. We've switched to balanced. We are going to sub Neil off soon, and then if and when we'll get Ford out of there as well. And there you go, Ford off to the races, still doing what he does, and that's why we've got him out there. Even though Palmer's supposed to be the guy on top, that shadow striker for Ford. He's going to still largely play the same role that he normally plays, but he'll be deeper, especially defensively, to help us cover that midfield a little bit. Big task for Neil right now, especially to not screw this up and get himself a second yellow. Playing with 9 men would be absurd to try to get out of this thing. And I do believe we are set to play extra time if we are equal at 90. Ford, that's deflected. Easy save for Anson after the deflection. We're still getting chances. That's good. Pierre heads that away. Gonna be missing Wilson here. That's a corner. Tunnicliffe heads that. We've played an hour. I think it's time to get Neil out of there, even though he's playing really well right now. Heggie, decent stop there. Just cannot risk the second yellow. Wiggett is defensive compared to Whitehall, so we're going to bring on Wiggett. Ooh, man, he nearly screwed that on. Pike almost gets it to Ford. There they go. I think it's also time here in the next few minutes to make the change and get probably Ford out of there. And then, even though he's playing really well even now, but we need to get more defensive. I like how we are kind of layering things at the moment. It's working. We gets nervous coming on. Doesn't surprise me. Guy hasn't played much. Fatigue. Daniel Pike leading the way in that department, but we have Hughes. We have Hughes. He's okay, I guess. What do we have? Whitehall for Ford? Or do we leave Ford on top with his pace to keep chasing the ball and get Palmer out of there? Palmer, super smart, but what has he done? Right? All right, taking both of our wingers, switching them from inverted to actual wingers because I'd rather have them take the ball to the corner here in the final minutes. And then, of course, Ford with his pace. So, that combination, those guys can try to help hold play up, kill some time for us, and then we are much more defensive than before. We'll get back out there, and then once the change goes through, we'll get in and alter the instructions. Time wasting. Drop the tempo down a little bit. Play for the set pieces. All right, that is 2 subs. I do have 1 remaining. Whether we use it as a stoppage time killer or whether we need to make 1 more sub. There's no yellow cards out there now, so we're okay on that. Pike is the only one who's pretty tired, so a Leston Hughes swap would probably be good. Pierre clears that. And immediately they are getting in. But there's Ford taking it to the corner, but then he loses it. Starts counterattack. Whitehall recovers. That's deflected, but again, right to Anson. He's getting a lot of those today. A lot. Quite a bit. Okay, Leston Hughes. Tunnicliffe picks up a yellow, but you don't worry as much about a defender in the last 5 minutes picking up a yellow. They're used to that. They know how to handle that. It's the midfield ones. It's those counterattacking ones that you're like, yeah, no. Whew, that was a decent chance. Heath makes the stop. Chances much more than we're used to facing. They've had 17 attempts. Free kick, very edge of the box. Corner kick. Offside. 1 minute to go. We're in stoppage time. We are in stoppage time just like that. Make that time wasting. Go full bore. Heath sending it long. Less than a minute to play. 45 seconds now. Sends it long. Can't win it. Would have been nice to have Palmer on the end of that, but that's okay. That is okay. Pierre heads it away. That should just about do it. Keeping away. Keep ball. Going just fine. Right in our triangle. Wicket. All the way back to the keeper. Oh, come on, dude. Not the ball. Brooks. Wicket. Ola. There you go. Salvaged the win. The new tactic on second look. 2 things about it. 1, it worked. We had a couple goals. We were still dangerous. And it was still Ford kind of doing what Ford does. And tactically, that part of it was ultimately the same. Palmer wasn't necessarily putting us in some dangerous position. I think to get more out of Palmer, I'm going to need to alter the corner kick to target him, because I think that's where he's going to be very dangerous to get the goals himself and not just be the guy who receives the ball and then feeds it through for Ford. But meanwhile, going down to 10 men there, got them back in that game. I mean, we very much, we still amassed some XG, but they amassed a lot more, especially in the later minutes as we went even more defensive. We invited that attack a bit, but we held off. We got the win. And we're still alive. Meanwhile, in the league, we're still leading and looking good, and we've got multiple games in hand. But our problem there, and our problem throughout the year, has been we've picked up a lot of injuries. We were just getting healthy. Now, all of a sudden, we're playing 2 matches every week as we're involved in multiple competitions at this phase of the season when other teams are out of those. So we've got a busy calendar, and we're getting matches postponed to midweek. And then, you're piling on match after match after match. So the guys we need some more squad rotation, which is something we were doing pretty well this season. But then when you start adding in injuries or suspensions and tough matches that you need your best lineup for, that fatigue adds up. The injuries add up. So we do have an injury bug we need to get healthy from right now. We have a fatigue bug, injury concern, injury risk bug that we also need to eliminate here in the coming weeks if we are going to keep our position at the top of the league, if we are going to continue to compete in the FA Trophy and the FA Cup. It's a lot. It's a lot for a club our size to be doing when we have about 17 in terms of squad depth. It's not terrible, but that's putting a lot on the guys. That is going to do it for this episode, though. I'm Decathlon Gamer. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Have a good one. Be safe out there, and bye for now.